was talking to one of my students the other day, and they were telling me that they changed their product price. They're originally selling the product for I think like $12.99. So if they shifted over and they started selling it for $19.99, and said the conversion rate automatically dropped. As soon as they switched it over, they said the conversion rate dropped. And he says to me, so Cam, like I changed the conversion rate. It must be the price that made the conversion rate drop. I told him like, yeah, you could think that, but there's so many other factors on why your conversion rate could have dropped. The site could have crashed. Facebook was sending bot traffic to your account. There are so many different variables on why or why not something can happen in your Shopify store. So today I'm going to be covering you guys. It's this new app. It's called Neat A/B Test. And what it allows you to do is actually test one variable at a time. So I think, and I'll show you guys whenever we get into my computer. But so for example, he didn't have this app. So all he could do was just assume that it was the price change that happened. And that's why his conversion rate dropped. What this app would allow you to do is constantly test different variables, titles, prices, compare prices, product images, literally everything you can think of about a product to make sure it reaches its like optimal so that you get the most sales out of everything. The description, title, like I was saying, the prices, every single thing, you'll be able to test it using this app. And that's what I'm about to show you guys right now. All right, so here it is right here. In the test store that I've been showing you guys, Neat A/B testing. So all I did was I searched Neat A/B, and then this will be the first one that pops up. Neat A/B testing by Neat Shift. This is like I was saying, for me, it helped me improve my product page, because essentially what it did was it showed me what it was that customers were actually liked on my page. So I would write a product description that in my head I thought was absolutely amazing, or like I loved everything I did with the product photos and just about everything else. I would split test the products that I loved, the description that I loved, the product images that I loved, with product images that I didn't think were that great or weren't gonna convert as well. I put them in the Neat A/B testing, and it turns out the product, everything that I actually liked, was not what my customers liked. So this helped me get rid of like my bias as a marketer, because we're always gonna think, okay, this is actually better. So because like I came up with it, of course it's better. So this app allows you to test like literally everything. So like I was saying earlier, you can test like your products. So the product title, the description, the image, and the pricing. The product page layout. So how you want to actually see everything. So like the pictures, which pictures come first, all of that good stuff. And then your home page. So your home page would probably be the one you won't have to test as much. It just depends. So if you're running more like a one product store, like how this store is structured, you probably will want to test it, but usually you wouldn't have to worry about it. So I'm going to be showing you guys how to do like a product page test, because there's only one product in the store. And what this is going to be is me playing around with, so again, you can play around with all of this stuff. What I'm going to be doing, and what I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to be doing, is playing around with the product pricing, because like the product pricing for me is always like the biggest deal on like how high can I price this product so that I can make like the most money off of it, pretty much. So right now I have like a bunch of different variations of this product. Now, like the biggest thing about this Neat A/B test is that you only want to change one variable at a time. If you change multiple variables across one product description, then it'll mess up all of your testing. Whenever it comes to this type of stuff, you kind of have to think of yourself as like a mad scientist when you're testing exactly what it sounds like. Whenever you're being like playing around with the scientific or the calculated numbers, you have to think there's one control variable and then there's one variable that I have to mess around with and that I play with, and that's exactly what this is. So in this case, it's going to be the pricing. So I'm going to say it's going to be, let's say, $24.99, and that's the price that I want to keep across all of the variables. I don't want to touch the compare price. I don't want to touch the product images. I don't want to touch anything until I'm done with this initial first test, and I can figure out what is the best way for me to price my products. Now, typically, it depends on how you want to play with it. I like to do bigger jumps because I see like a more significant change. So I would jump from $18.99 to $24.99. It's like a $5 difference. I would do a jump like that, me personally, because instead of going 19, 20, 21, 23, 24, because I like to see the significant change. So if I see this and let's say this test fails, then I know, okay, so my ideal product range is in between $18 and $24, rather than me just going one by one. But it all depends on how you would like to do it. And then here's another really cool thing that you can actually do like a test cycle. So it just depends if you want to do 24 hours. I like to do 1 hour just because like whenever you do it with 1 hour, I personally feel like you can make a little bit, you get a little bit more data a lot faster. Now they recommend that I don't think you look at any of the data until about 3 or 4 days of testing, but I'm really bad at that. I pretty much look at the data every 10 minutes. And then of course you can schedule whenever you want it to launch. So I'm just gonna leave it on the default so that it starts the test right now. And then you'll click the start test button. Say, all right, and here it is right here. So now we have our first test. So right now we don't have any data for it. What will eventually happen is that when we do get all of the data, it'll show up right here. So the control variable, which is the $18.99, the first price that we had, and then the test variable, which is the $24.99. You'll be able to see how many people saw it. It's almost exactly like a Facebook ad setup. So you'll see like number of impressions, number of views. So impressions and views will pretty much be about the same number. The number of times it got added to cart, and then the percentage along with that. The number of sales it got, the number of units sold, the revenue you made off that, and then the revenue per view. So typically, whenever I'm looking at something, I look at as many things as I can, but in specific, I look at the add to carts. So that just shows me if I'm doing a product description test, the add to cart shows me how good the actual product description was and how convincing it was. Number of sales is obviously like the key metric. So like the sales usually will trump everything else. The number of revenue that I made off of it, which I typically, I don't ignore it, but the only time I look at it is if the description encouraged people to add more than one product to their cart. That's about the only time I look at the revenue. And then the revenue per view is one of them I actually really like to look at because it just shows me how much money I made per everyone that saw it. So let's say 1,000 people saw this one, but only 100 people saw my test variable, but my revenue per view is higher for my test variable. That typically means that my test variable is a little bit better, even though it might not have as many impressions. So that's how you see all of that stuff. And then whenever you decide whichever one is better, you'll click set as winner, and then that'll save whatever you're testing. So the control or the test variable will get saved into your default version. So you won't have to worry about it constantly changing every hour. It'll be set as whatever you want it to be. So again, guys, this is like a super duper cool app. I really liked it when I found out about it. I was like, I pretty much have to share this with you guys. And again, like, please feel free to play around with this app as much as you want. So like, again, you can test the description, you can test the title, the images, literally everything across almost any product. Again, with the homepage test, and then again with like the page layout, so your images and all of that. I personally would recommend testing for one product at a time, but I would like to see you guys play around with this as much as you possibly want and see what happens. Alright guys, I hope you found that video really valuable. Again, all it is about split testing as many things as possible to make your product page, your website, and your entire funnel as optimal as possible. If you guys enjoyed this video, please drop a comment down below if you have any questions, or just shoot me a message on Instagram. I would absolutely love to help any of you guys with anything you guys might need. So thank you for loving and supporting my channel up to this point. I hope to talk to you guys soon.